My name is Micaela Neus, but I typically go by Micah, and you can call me that. I'm an assistant product manager at Quantstamp. You might have seen me at ETH Denver or EdCon. I'm usually running around with an iPad doing user research on upcoming products. My purpose today is to talk about some of the patterns we've seen at Quantstamp that I think we can share out to the community to improve security development through the whole ecosystem here. So if you don't know, Quantstamp is a security company. We do automated and professional security audits for smart contracts written in Solidity. As part of our business, we have worked with, How do I move this slide forward? Hi, the slide isn't working. Oh no. Oh, there we go. That explains it. All right, cool. I'll just say next slide or something. So at Quantstamp, we have audited, can you scroll up just a little bit more, please? Yay. There we go. We have worked with top companies on Ethereum. We have seen dozens of professional audits. I've personally interviewed dozens of developers and engineers at some of the top companies. In terms of our automated tools, we've probably had 800 different contracts come through our web app. So we've seen a lot of contracts, more than the average developer will ever see, probably. And from there, we can start to draw some trends. So if you can scroll down a little bit, please. Great. Yeah, so in viewing all of these contractors and talking to people, we see trends on how the best companies are actually incorporating security thinking into their development practice. We all have practices around developing code, different tools that we like, patterns and habits, and we just need to bring security into our thinking as we are working with blockchain. So the top companies don't write a whole bunch of code and then tack on security at the end. That's a big point I want to make here. They're thinking about it the whole way through. Can you scroll to the next one? So the big point I would make is that a secure workflow for smart contract development combines human intelligence with the right tooling in a series of iterative improvements. It doesn't wait until the end and tack it on. It's a series of iterative improvements. Actually, you need to scroll more, sorry. So some of the major components here that we see are just a total commitment to learning. Everything here is really emergent. There is no one set of best practices. The best people are constantly trying to build their personal network, talk to more Solidity engineers, and just generally get better. They use frameworks, IDEs, and libraries very strategically. You saw Rico Chen talking about some of those, you need to use the best tools. We run code analyzers to surface vulnerabilities early and often. I'll talk about those later. And also, taking every opportunity to see how your contract will operate in the wild before publishing to mainnet, and that means deploying to test nets. They're also utilizing the community by hosting bug bounties, and of course, you still need to get a professional audit, whether that's from an independent security researcher or from a firm like Quantstamp. You scroll down. So today I'm just going to talk about the parts that are not around humans. I think if you come to events like this, you understand the value of building a network and learning from people. So we're just going to move to code analyzers, why you should deploy on test nets and how to get the best value from that, and the bug bounties. So code analyzers absolutely are going to save you time, money, and tears. Absolutely. They are very complicated pieces of math. They use symbolic execution to throw just tons of numbers at your code. They're going to put your code through its paces in ways that you are not going to think of as a human being. And it will bring, a good open source tool will bring some of the common known vulnerabilities in smart contracts to your attention right away. So two of the most popular ones are Oyente and Mithril. And you can use these tools yourself. You can fork this and keep working. They are constantly under development. They're sometimes breaking changes, and they can be a pain to maintain. If you scroll down. So at Quantstamp, we are developing our own security protocol. We have a team of PhDs in Waterloo who are developing this. But in the meantime, we are supporting Oyente, a customized version of Oyente, through our web app at app.quantstamp.com. It's more proof of concept. We are constantly improving it, but it's not perfect. but it is a way so that you don't have to maintain an analyzer yourself, but you can get the value of it. If you pay in QSP, it costs about the price of a cup of coffee. I literally went to Mazarine on Market Street, if you know it, and saw how much a coffee was and went back to the office and priced it in QSP. Another big part of what we do is once you get the results from these analyzers, what the heck does it mean? Like understanding what these vulnerabilities are and how to address them is a huge part of the problem. So using our tool, you will get a rich report that actually gives you some clues on how to keep moving forward in your development process. Can you keep scroll to the next one? One thing I do want to point out is that an analyzer is not an audit in the full sense, is an assist, is not an unequivocal answer that is going to solve all your problems. They will find bugs by just like I said through math that you're not going to find on your own. Bottom line is machines are better at math than you, but human beings are, for the moment at least, still winning when it comes to human reasoning. So you really want to use this as a tool to then talk to a human and get the answer on how to actually fix stuff. So scroll more. A great tool when it's time to actually start bringing humans in and seeing how your code performs in the wild is deploying to a testnet. As Rico noted, testnets are different in their underlying protocols. Proof of work, proof of authority, they're just written by different people, different teams, and they behave differently. So you might consider deploying to not just one, but multiple testnets. The reasons are really simple. You need to know how people will actually use your contract. That is a source of security flaw in this world, okay? People are notoriously tricky bastards. You can get the code just right, and they're gonna surprise you. Robots are not gonna help you here. Also, if something can run just perfectly on your local network or your local node, but when you actually are hitting a decentralized network, you can have issues with latency and timing that, depending on how your contract is written and what's important to it, could introduce a critical vulnerability. And something you should know is on a testnet, you can keep your code private or public, it's fine. Sometimes people seem nervous about it, there's no reason. And if you scroll just a little bit more, I think this is overlooked. There's a huge benefit to deploying on testnets for community support and user experience. Are you communicating with language the risks and benefits of using your contract? Like, we are having a flood of contracts, good and bad, and how you communicate the value of what you're doing is huge. So I think there's a hidden value of deploying to testnets there. Scroll to the next one. I think if you deploy to testnets, you will start getting really good feedback. But a much more systematic way to do that is to run a bug bounty. Now, I think a bounty, depending on the scope of your contract, could be as simple as saying you'll buy someone a beer or something like that. But the idea is that you want to find people who have some expertise that you don't have, who will come and look at your code and hopefully a testnet deployment and examine the types of transactions or interactions with your contract that are most likely to cause risk, and tell you what they find and give you some mitigation factors. The one big thing with bug bounties is the noise to signal ratio can be just insane. People on HackerOne, I think the report is like, 63% noise on the bug reports that are filed from those. It's going to be really a lot of work. So consider invite only if you want to reduce that. So several blockchain-specific platforms are available right now. People are realizing the value of bug bounties, and so they're creating places for both researchers to find bounties to try to hunt, and then also for people to release their code. I'm not going to mention any because I don't want to make it sound like I'm endorsing them, but there's some really good ones out there, and a good Google search will find them quite easily. One of the best strategies, especially if you're just getting started, is to just write a really good blog post and explain to people how to find your contract, what you want them to test, what you're willing to give them if they find vulnerabilities, and just see what they come up with, So if you scroll just a little bit more, set deadlines on your bug bounties. I found a few examples that apparently for the rest of time, you can claim bounties on these things. So if you scroll just a little bit more, I just want to follow, end the talk here with this big takeaway. Start thinking about security as an iterative process that you're going to do from the beginning of your contract all the way through. And you're going to use the best tools, starting with things like Remix and SafeMath as a library, and just keep moving from there and bringing in more and more human intelligence. And always looking for a way to like engage community, because you will get a fountain of knowledge about vulnerabilities, but then also just the user experience of your contract. And scroll one more time. Ta-da! Let's stay in touch. You can always email me at Mica@quantstamp.com. Twitter, yes, Mica is. This is a highly compressed summary of lots of research, so you can probably find a blog post from me soon. And yeah, more questions, please don't hesitate to contact me at Quantstamp. All right, that's it.